One of America's great cities, Seattle, Washington, the Space Needle, just a few minutes north of the Lodo District here in downtown Seattle. Justin Upton getting ready for this interleague series. And look at those interleague numbers, outstanding as a member of the Diamondbacks and the Braves, looking to continue that here in Seattle tonight. On the other side, Robinson Cano got off to a little bit of a slow start, but the former Yankee red hot in the last 5 games. The Mariners come into this series on a little bit of a roll. Welcome to Safeco Field in Seattle, Washington for tonight's ball game between the San Diego Padres and the Seattle Mariners. With Mark Grant, I'm Jesse Agler. First of 2 between these two teams here. They will meet again at Petco Park a little bit later on this season. Tonight's starter, Ian Kennedy. Mudd may be coming off his best start of the season.
Day off yesterday, so everybody has a chance to regroup, and Ian Kennedy can go off that last start against the San Francisco Giants and hopefully pave the way here in the Emerald City against the M's. Last time against the Giants in San Francisco, mind you, a tough venue. 7 solid innings, 6 hits, no walks. Why? He had command of the fastball. Got in their kitchen, both sides of the plate. He threw up the slider occasionally when he was ahead. He expanded the strike zone, and he also dropped the changeup on the Giant hitters. A great outing. Hopefully it carries over today for Ian Kennedy to win this 2-game series against the Mariners. You can't win them both if you don't win the first one.
I like the way you're thinking. All right, one of the guys he's going to have to contend with is Nelson Cruz, and his first year as a Mariner off to a very nice start.
He's on fire. He's hitting everything, and when you see him tonight, check out the plate coverage of Nelson Cruz. This 34-year-old is hitting everything, and when you look at rankings, this is an American League. It's MLB rankings this season. Look at the home runs, the slugging percentage, the batting average, up there towards the top. Why? Great plate coverage. He's very patient at the plate. And you know what? When they shift him, he'll try to take the ball the other way. He's using the whole field. Professional hitter. He's Mr. Everything right now for Nelson Cruz. Big key for Ian Kennedy and the pitching staff. Contain Nelly Cruz, as they call him up here in Seattle in this series. Hopefully they can keep him quiet.
Huge year in Baltimore last year. Led all of baseball with 40 homers, and he's picking up right where he left off. Who knows? Maybe you even see him DH at some point this season. And when we come back, Chris Budden will discuss the designated hitter. This is the big question, or one of them around baseball. To DH or not to DH? We'll hear from some Padre players when we come back, and we'll continue the debate and the conversation about the designated hitter in baseball.
Welcome back to Seattle. Game 1 between the Padres and the Mariners. Corey Spangenberg is the Padres designated hitter today. And as San Diego makes its first stop in an American League park, it brings up the very often debated to DH or not to DH. Well, Buddy Black spent most of his playing career in the American League, but his entire managerial career in the National League. He says, keep things the same.
You know, I like the DH in the American League, and I like the pitcher to hit in the National League. I like the way it is. If you were to ask me what I would prefer, I'd like to see the pitcher hit in both leagues. Now, that's really turning back the clock, but that's just how I feel.
I guess I'm for it. I mean, I came up in the American League and spent my last 6 years playing in the American League. So I think it's better offensively. I think it's better for the game. I think it's probably healthier for pitchers.
Different guys, different opinions, so the debate continues. But there will be a DH tonight and tomorrow night for the Padres as they visit Seattle. Ian Kennedy takes the mound, trying to stop Nelson Cruz. A little cruise control for the Padres right-hander. We've got first pitch coming up on Fox Sports San Diego.
By your San Diego Lexus dealer. By Petco, what we feed them matters. By Sony, the leader of 4K Ultra HD. And by GMC, precision matters. A little bit overcast again in Seattle here this afternoon. That's nothing all that unusual, but still a lovely day in a lovely city. And inside Safeco Field, no concerns about weather. They've got the roof closed. 61 degrees with Mark Grant and Chris Budden. I'm Jesse Agler. You still get the elements in here, even with the roof closed. You still get the temperature, the cool temps.
It's more like a canopy.
Yes.
It's not an enclosed roof, and they've really done a bang-up job here in the Emerald City. See the football stadium just out to left field. Just a great setting, a great venue, Safeco Field. Getting ready for the first game of 2 against these M's.
That's it. Padres lineup is brought to you by Toyota. That was a late change, as you heard from Chris Budden and Mike Pomerantz and Mark Sweeney on Padres Live. The pregame show, Abraham Almonte originally further down in the lineup, but with the wrist injury to Will Myers, he slides into that leadoff spot. Yangervis Solarte was the DH. He's now going to play first base. And Corey Spangenberg, not originally in the starting lineup, will be the designated hitter and hit 8th here tonight against the big left-hander, James Paxton.
And here's the scouting report brought to you by Verizon Wirelift. High 3/4 arm slot, almost straight over the top. Iron Mike-like. Good downward plane on his fastball. Tries to go down and in. And bury that breaking ball down and in as well to the right-handed hitters. The fastball and the slider from James Paxton.
26-year-old Canadian making his 7th start of the year, as you said. And we're ready to go as the switch-hitting Abraham Almonte, the former Mariner, takes a fastball high, ball 1 underway here at Safeco. Almonte got the call up this past week before the Saturday night game against Arizona. And he takes a strike. Just limited action here. Had some good numbers at AAA. And he rolls that one back towards the mound. Paxton will spin, throw, and 1 away here in the 1st inning. So Seattle defensively will look like this here tonight. Seth Smith, you remember him. He's getting the start out in left field. Dustin Ackley starting in center with Austin Jackson on the disabled list. Nelson Cruz, all kinds of offensive capabilities in right. Seager Taylor on the left side of the infield. Cano Morrison with Mike Zunino behind the plate. There's our old friend.
The old miss. The old man. Seth Smith. Left field. You know, these M's, 22 errors. Not the defense they were hoping for.
Derek Norris has provided good defense for the Padres behind the plate. He's hitting too, particularly against left-handed pitching. Norris got the day off on Sunday in Arizona, a 2-1 loss to the Diamondbacks. And you couple that with the off day yesterday, he's got to be feeling more fresh than usual.
The Shillelagh should be a little bit quicker. And I feel that a catcher, when you get that full day off and being fresh and ready to go, you know, Derek Norris, he wants to catch every game, right?
Take strike 3 called, 2 away.
Wow. Maybe inside a little bit. That's one of the pitches I was talking about from Paxton. The fastball in. It's definitely high enough. It's mid-thigh. I think Derek was just questioning if it was inside or not.
Home plate umpire is Mark Wegner. Rings him up. 2 gone here in the top of the 1st. Paxton has needed just 6 pitches to get the first couple of outs. And here's Matt Kemp, who, like Norris, took the day off on Sunday. Or maybe it's more accurate to say was given the day off on Sunday. Kemp had started every single game up to that point this season.
Every player's different. I talked to a lot of hitters, position players. If the manager wants to give a day off, they will say, my day off is the scheduled day off. It's almost like the manager has to say, no, you're not playing tonight. We're going to give you a day off, and it's his choice.
Rolls over on that one, grounds it to Seager, the Gold Glover at third base. Throws him out in a very quick 1-2-3 start for James Paxton. Ian Kennedy coming out to pitch the bottom of the 1st. Ian Kennedy getting it rolling his last couple of times out. A couple of really nice starts against the Rockies, and then in San Francisco, his last start, he will face the Seattle Mariners and his former teammate Seth Smith. Seattle starting lineup is brought to you by Hyundai. Smith will lead off, and the 2 to keep an eye on, if not the 3. Cano, Cruz, Seager off to a little bit of a slow start, but very, very dangerous. They got some bats in this order. They're just sort of waiting for everybody to get going.
And if Ian Kennedy can hit his spots like the last couple times out, I think these Mariner hitters are going to have some difficulty. We saw Seth Smith, as you mentioned, with the Padres. Kid can hit.
No surprise, we see San Diego shifting the defense against Seth Smith, who started 119 games for the Padres last year. And doing the bulk of the leading off with Austin Jackson on the disabled list. And Smith would certainly not fall into that category. Prototypical leadoff hitter, but as we know from watching him last year, does a really good job getting on base.
Good eye, good command of the strike zone. Pretty basic when it comes to Seth Smith and his approach at the plate. He swings at strikes. I know that sounds like an "oh really" type of statement, but he's very selective at the plate. Looks like a pretty good pitch there.
Doesn't miss by much. 2 balls and a strike. Smith has a little bit of a history against Ian Kennedy. Of course, they were teammates for just the 1 season last year. Fouls the 2-1 back.
Going to have to keep an eye on the velocity of Ian Kennedy's fastball. That one was at 90. The first pitch of the game, 90. That fastball fouled back at 90 as well.
Smith 6 for 20 against Kennedy in his career with a homer, 4 doubles. And that one doesn't miss by much. 3-2.
Went with the curveball. That was the curveball that Seth Smith laid off of to go full. So now might be a good time for that changeup or to locate a fastball down and away. Fastball away.
Reaches for it, spoils it, and this is one of those Seth Smith at-bats.
Scouting report for the veteran right-hander Ian Kennedy. Fastball command is key. Looks like he's got a pretty good fastball, and the changeup ties them in knots. Way out in front. Big swings.
Smith lines that one to right field. Kemp's not going to have a play on it, and it pops right up against the wall. Kemp's got the good arm, throw to second base, and he is a dead duck. Seth Smith trying to turn a single into a double. Matt Kemp throws him out at second.
What in the Ichiro Suzuki is going out there in right field? Let's watch it. He's geared for the fastball. He gets it. Okay, now it's game on. Matt Kemp has the benefit of the carom. Comes right to him. A perfect strike. And Clint Barmas applies the tag.
So a long battle between Smith and Kennedy ends with that, and now a fly ball to deep right field from Miller. Kemp coming over again, and that's a fair ball in the corner. Miller is at second. Kemp's trying to dig it out, and it looks like it might have gotten stuck under some padding. And they're going to say it is a ground rule double for Brad Miller, the designated hitter. Well, he didn't waste any time starting his at bat.
Seth Smith hit a fastball off the wall. Miller looked like he was out in front of that pitch. Let's take a look. Matt Kemp giving chase. Then there's the bounce. Yes, it hit the net and then goes out of play.
A little bit of a netting out there. It looked like for a moment Kemp was unsure about what would happen if it bounced back in play. Kemp playing here in Seattle for the first time in his career. So a double, and now Robinson Cano takes ball 1 from Ian Kennedy. Slow start for the former Yankee, but he's coming around. Tied for the American League lead in doubles with 11. And he has enjoyed hitting at Safeco Field this year.
You know, if you're a good hitter, and history proves that, you're going to hit anywhere. Last 10 hitting .333 for Robbie Cano. And that's paint from Ian Kennedy. They call him Robbie.
See the home numbers this year. His good buddy Nelson Cruz
Call him Nelly.
Yes, they do. Robbie and Nelly. Cano is a big part of Cruz ending up here as he lines that one to center field. Miller's got good speed. He's being waved. Almonte will not have a play at the plate, and the Mariners take a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first off of Ian Kennedy. Back-to-back hits to start the night for Seattle, and they're on top 1-0.
That looked like a changeup to Robinson Cano. Out of the hand. Yes, and he goes down. That's some plate coverage there. Watch where he makes contact on this. Out in front and below the knees. These Mariners like to swing the shillelagh.
Seth Smith had that long, patient at bat to start it off, and then Miller, Cano, jumping on him right away. And now you got to deal with this guy. One of the top hitters in the American League again this season. Signed a free agent contract with Seattle this offseason. Cano put on the full press recruiting package. 40 home runs last year in Baltimore. And leading the majors again with 14 so far this season. Off speed from Kennedy. Took a little something off the fastball. 2-0 missing low. So Cruz was saying, even though Safeco, kind of like Petco, considered a fair / pitcher's park, so he's always seen the ball really well here. Loves hitting here.
Good batter's eye here in center field. Good recognition of the ball out of the pitcher's hand. There's the batter's eye directly behind that 401 sign here at Safeco Field.
Three-0 to Cruz. He's swinging. Chops it foul.
That does not surprise me, swinging 3-0. Well, you have a minute. What do we got coming up next, Jesse?
We got our keys to the game brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers. What do you want to see?
I want to see him ship Cruz back to the bench. Kind of maritime theme there.
Cruise ship.
And more punch, please. With the DH in effect, these 2 games in Seattle. How about some more offense for the San Diego Padres with that DH in play in this series?
Cruz was swinging 3-0. He's taking 3-1. The pitch misses outside, ball 4. Ian Kennedy working very carefully to Nelson Cruz as we take a look at the Padre defense, brought to you by your San Diego County Ford dealers. Upton, Almonte, Kemp in the outfield. We got Clint Barmas at shortstop, Jerko at second, Solarte at first, Norris behind the plate. There's Abraham Almonte. And here is Kyle Seager. Like Robinson Cano, off to a little bit of a slow start this year, but coming around. Mariners overall have missed their expectations up to this point, but they had a good weekend against the A's. And Lloyd McClendon hoping that that's kind of the jumping off point for his ball club.
Yeah, early on, the pitching staff, the rotation, couldn't get the Mariners deep in the games, and that would tax the bullpen. Now it's starting to come around a little bit.
Seager hits that one well out to right field. Kemp's looking up, and it's out of here. A 3-run homer for Kyle Seager, his 4th of the season. And the Mariners continue to hit the ball hard here in the bottom of the first. They've got a 4-0 lead on the Padres.
When you look at the 1-2-3 punch of Cano, Cruz, and Seager, they like to swing at the fastball. They don't miss mistakes too often. That is a fastball outer third, about knee high. And the Mariners making some noise here in the first inning, hitting some balls hard.
Matt Kemp has been busy in right field. Throughout Seth Smith, the leadoff man, trying to stretch a single into a double, but since then, double, single, walk, and a 3-run homer. A 4-run first inning as Logan Morrison takes inside, ball 1. Ian Kennedy in his last start Wednesday at San Francisco gave up 1 run in 7 innings. He's allowed 4 and recorded 1 out here tonight.
opposing hitters not missing many mistakes recently. Been all over the mistakes.
See the numbers for Morrison and Seager taking a victory lap in the dugout. First baseman fouls that one back out of play. 1-1. Morrison having a nice week and a half or so. Another tough bat in this Seattle lineup. Mariners come in tonight 14-17. They had lost 6 out of their last 7 before sweeping the A's over the weekend. And they look good so far here tonight. 2-1. American League West. Houston, of course, off to that unbelievable start. Angels and the Mariners keeping within striking distance. And, of course, anytime you get to send that guy out to the mound every 5th day, Felix Hernandez, it's hard to have a big losing streak. 2-2 to Morrison.
Good guy to have in the rotation to avoid those long losing streaks. Of course, he's going to have his tough ones every now and then, but Felix Hernandez, he is a good one.
Team is 7-0 when he starts a game this year. He's 6-0 with an ERA under 2. It's their last game on Sunday. 2-2 is high to Logan Morrison. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Kane doing a lot of stretching out there on the mound. Hands over the head, kind of stretching those arms.
Morrison takes ball 4.
Doesn't have the feel, doesn't have the touch of his pitches early on this evening.
Darren Balsley's going to head out and have a conversation with Ian Kennedy. Big stretch coming up for the Padres. Game over 500. Giants are right there. Just split 4 with Arizona. And a tough stretch for San Diego, right? You got 2 here in Seattle against a quality team. And Washington comes in for 4 this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then the Cubs come to town. Not easy right now.
No.
Got to pick up some wins.
We know about the Washington Nationals, the whole story about Bryce Harper, the Chicago Cubs, Chris Bryant, and Joe Madden's troops. They're in second place in the NL Central, 6 games out going into tonight.
Dustin Ackley with a runner on first and still just 1 away. The big names doing damage for the Mariners here in the first, and Kennedy delivers strike 1.
Just cannot get away with those mistakes. The majority of the time down the middle of the plate. These Mariners love to hit the fastball, as proven in this first inning. Curveball.
Big swing and miss. Ackley's been struggling offensively. I think he's 9 for his last 61. That's a big stretch.
Yes, it is.
Strikeout or ground ball would be preferred. Kennedy ahead of him, 0-2.
You think Ackley likes to pull the baseball? See the positioning of the Padres? Will Middlebrooks well off the line at third base. How far off he is there. Swung this way in the outfield, that way in the air. Change up.
Got it. Big strikeout for Ian Kennedy, second out of the inning here in the first. As he got Ackley to be out in front of that changeup. You could say he tied him up in knots.
He did. He absolutely did. Screwed him right into the ground, and that will do wonders for your chiropractor because this will hurt your back. It looks like fastball, and then all of a sudden, oh no, that's going to hurt the lumbar a little bit. And as you said, Jesse, ties him up in knots right there.
Seattle catcher.
Hopefully he gets that feel for that changeup, and he stops the bleeding at 4 runs.
Zunino takes strike 1. Another change.
Curveball.
Curveball. Zunino started 125 games behind the plate last year for the Mariners. Been pretty much their everyday guy, and he's what stands between Ian Kennedy
and the end of this first inning. 8th man to bat against the Padres starter here in the first. Nice stop by Derek Norris. 1-1. Logan Morrison walked with 1 out. Kennedy got Ackley, and he's at 30 pitches. And look at the ball strike ratio.
Yeah, not good. That's a heavy workload for any pitcher, throwing 30 plus pitches in 1 inning.
Zunino takes, snap throw down to first, and Solarte's tag nearly got Logan Morrison. Haven't seen that much from Derek Norris in the first month or so. Seen him throw out 12 guys trying to steal second or third, but nice pickoff throw.
You got the front door open there with the right-handed hitter. Timing play. As soon as that ball is caught, spin and throw, fire a strike. And I think he maybe got a pitch taken away from him there as he gets in safe. Hey, now. Got in safely.
Solarte certainly not a natural first baseman, but a good job there handling that throw, applying the tag. Zunino takes strike 2. See the way Kennedy has been working Zunino down in the zone. Morrison off first. Mentioned Solarte over there. Will Myers was scheduled to get the start at first. He was scratched late with a sore left wrist. That one's inside, and now a full count, 3-2 to the Seattle catcher. Morrison will get the head start, but Kennedy wants to go through the signs one more time with Norris. Tough first inning for Ian Kennedy. RBI single from Robinson Cano, 3-run homer from Kyle Seager.
You know, Solarte over at first base holding on the runner. You see the infield is shifted over towards the left side. Usually if he tries to go that way, he play behind the runner, but he pulls the ball so much on the infield, you just want to stay there just to hold that runner so he doesn't get a big huge lead.
Got him there, strikes him out to end the inning. Couple of Ks for Kennedy to get out of it, but 4 runs in the first for Seattle.
Padres trailing 4-0, and they had a day off yesterday to enjoy Seattle, and there was going to be a day off that wasn't in San Diego. Well, Seattle's the place to do it. You know, a lot of guys maybe went and caught some fish at the Pike's Place Fish Market, but some other guys caught some fish in a different way. Here is Yangervis Solarte and Alexi Amarista at the Space Needle. But guess who went fishing? Abraham Almonte, Joaquin Benoit, and Nelson Cruz out on the boat. They went fishing but actually didn't catch any fish. Maybe they would have had some better luck at the fish market, guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about Seattle, right? You go fishing, you don't catch anything, but then you can still go to the market and you can pretend like you caught all of those fish. Ball and a strike to Justin Upton. James Paxton pitching with a 4-run lead here in the top of the second. Yeah, they came up empty fishing, but you can just go to the market.
That's the great part of Seattle. You see flying fish all over the place downtown.
They chuck them around a little bit.
The sockeye salmon, the king salmon.
Paxton knows all about that. Grew up about 3 hours north of here in British Columbia.
I saw Tim salmon fly by me one time when I was downtown Seattle.
Upton muscles that one high in the air, right side of the infield. Cano has got it. One away. When we talk about fish being thrown,
Incoming.
It wasn't a euphemism or anything. It's a thing that actually happens down at the market. Heads up.
So you buy it fresh right there. They'll fillet it for you. So if you want a wild sockeye salmon or king salmon, they get it for you. They toss it around, clean it up. You can ship it anywhere in the country.
One out for Solarte. That's it. They were telling everybody that walked by they've got airline approved packaging for the fish. Brings them back to San Diego. Solarte tips that one at the plate. 0-2.
I look at Paxton and see if you agree with me, Jesse. He kind of reminds me, his delivery, Andy Pettit.
Reaches back a little bit further as that one is line just foul down the left field line. But yeah, there's an element of that.
Straight over the top.
Nothing in 2 to Solarte, you're right. And a fly ball to center. Dustin Ackley makes the catch. 2 gone. Paxton enjoying pitching with the 4-run lead. And closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel. Here's Jed Jerko. 2 outs, nobody aboard. Padres looking for their first base runner against Paxton. Jets getting it going a little bit. Drove in the only run of the day for the Padres Sunday in Arizona. That was an RBI double in the 6th inning. And May has been much kinder to him than April was. How big would it be for San Diego if he got locked in? Hammers that one foul.
I was just going to bring up the point about Paxton and the 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He can get up 95, 97. It seems to be pretty straight. And he has the other pitches to counter that fastball. He can throw that slider down and in. He can locate the fastball away.
Jerko takes that fastball for a ball, 2-1.
That's 96 from the left side. So look at the high leg kick. Good extension up top. Coming at you, Iron Mike.
Jerko swings and misses, 2-2.
Remember those pitching machines at the arcade? They had the metal arm. They would come straight over the top.
Just fling it at you.
Right. That's Iron Mike. And that's the type of delivery Paxton has, right over the top.
Inside, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Jerko. Last year in 13 starts, he went 6-4. ERA just over 3. Got off to a rough start this season, maybe coming into his own. Mariners trying to get going, not just from an offensive standpoint, but from a pitching standpoint as well. When Felix Hernandez or Jay Happ pitch, they're good. 11-2 in those situations, but when other starters open up the game, 3-15.
Not good.
No.
Lloyd McClendon.
Second year is the Seattle skipper. And Jed Jerko gets himself on base. 2-out walk to the Padres second baseman.
Well, we have a minute. Follow the Padres all season in 2015 with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. You got to have it.
Will Middlebrooks back in the starting lineup for the Padres here tonight. First start since last Tuesday in San Francisco. Against the nod against the left-handed starter, Paxton. And now a conversation is going to take place between the catcher Zunino and the Seattle starter. Got Upton and Solarte pretty quickly here in the second. Jerko walked. And now 2-0 to Middlebrooks.
That may have been just a visit. Hey, it was because it was a quick visit. As Rick Waite, the pitching coach for the Mariners, looks on. Hey, you're rushing a little bit. Hey, slow it down a little bit. Maybe one of the things Zunino mentioned.
Here's a strike.
And the best compliment you can give your pitching coach or catcher after a visit is firing a strike.
Middlebrooks, who had an 8-game hitting streak in mid-late April, has been struggling offensively. Not getting a ton of opportunities as of late either. It's that fine line any manager's got to walk. Leave the guy on the bench because it's a struggle, or do you get him out there so we can work out of it?
Got to play the whole roster, right? It's a philosophy a lot of managers abide by.
Hitters count for Middlebrooks, 3-1. And he pops it up. Back behind home plate. Now full count with 2 away.
Really gets that good downward plane. Working downhill, Paxton.
Had a good start his last time out. No decision in Anaheim. Went 7, gave up a 2-run homer to Albert Pujols in the first, and that was it.
Yeah, first 4 outings for Paxton, a 6.8 ERA.
Jerko gets the head start, and the 3-2's fouled off.
Tore the mask off of Zunino. Right off his head on that foul tip. And look at that ball strike ratio. Or I'm sorry, the pitch count. 9 in the first, making him work here in the second. And right off the grill.
Just kept chewing his gum like nothing happened. Another 3-2 misses. Back-to-back walks with 2 outs for the Padres here in the second. So Paxton, as you just saw, cruise through the first. Got the first couple here. Jerko and Middlebrooks reach, and now an opportunity for Corey Spangenberg, designated hitter. Not a great ball strike ratio for Paxton. Spangenberg not in the original starting lineup. And Myers was scratched. Solarte went from DH to first base, and Spangenberg inserted as the designated hitter. The lefty takes outside, ball 1.
Let's see if Paxton goes inside to the left-handed hitters. A lot of pitches to the righties. Inside, down and in with that breaking ball. Let's see if Corey Spangenberg, as the infield is playing him to pull a little bit. See if he tries to take Paxton the opposite way.
2 balls and no strikes.
Ball 2 and a dandy.
Continues to have his control evade him a little bit here in another conversation with Zunino. And yeah, now Rick Waite's going to head out there and join the chat. Padre designated hitters since interleague play began 1997 with at least 15 at bats. It's not something everybody can do, right? It's kind of like pinch hitting. It's just a completely different thing. I mean, look, Tony Gwynn, one of the great hitters of all time, maybe the greatest hitter of all time, clearly didn't like to DH. Just totally adjusts your whole routine.
It's not everybody's gig.
Yeah.
A lot of players, they want to be out there playing defense. You just can't sit around 2 or 3 innings and wait for another at bat. But when you look at that list also, those are the type of prototypical DH hitters, guys with pop, right? One swing of the bat for the 3-run shot. Vaughn, Nevin.
There's a strike after a conference. hits that corner. 2-1 to Spangenberg.
Mike Piazza. Ryan Ludwig.
You see a lot of National League teams use their catcher. He's a good offensive guy.
Give a day off.
Yeah, exactly. Checks his swing, but it's a called strike. 2-2. First pitch, number 4.
High strike called by Mark Wegner.
Couple of 2-out walks. Now a 2-2 coming to Spangenberg.
Everything's away here, except for that pitch number 4.
That one misses down and away. And another full count.
This is where you love the extra base hit. 3-2, 2 outs, multiple base runners. They will be going on the pitch. If Corey Spangenberg can split a gap, hit one down the line. And as I mentioned, all the pitches are away. Let's see if he tries to go that way.
Dials it back. And how American League is this situation? You got the DH up. He's in the 8 spot.
Yeah.
And so the pitcher is not next. Like if this is the other day in Arizona or back home at Petco, there's a totally different situation. The pitcher's on deck, and maybe the guy in the mound is going to pitch a little bit differently,
right.
But you've got a position player due up next. Clint Barnes in this case. Another 3-2, and it's ball 4. So back-to-back-to-back walks with 2 outs here in the second. And the number 9 hitter will come to the plate against Lloyd McClendon's Mariners.
That's a good eye right there by Corey Spangenberg. He could have very easily tried to go after that pitch. It was off the plate. It was a ball.
So the base is loaded with 2 outs. Padres down 4. And Barmes takes low, ball 1. Guy threw 9 pitches to get 3 outs in the first inning. Jerko, Middlebrooks, and Spangenberg. Big hack in 96. Yeah.
96. Elevated as well. That was a perfect pitch to try to drive towards right center field. You look at the defense. Ackley is playing on the shortstop side, third base side of second base, so he's got that gap all the way out there.
Another pitch out of the strike zone. 2-1 to Barnes. 36-year-old making his 9th start of the season. Alexi Amarista has gotten the bulk of the time at shortstop as the bullpen is going for the Mariners, and that's a strike. 2-2. Better Cup action in Seattle. Barmes, a broken bat, and he just missed pulling that one fair.
Hey, there's a Padre fan in the fedora that gets a foul ball, along with some Friar faithful. Yeah, the Vedder Cup. Eddie Vedder, lead singer of Pearl Jam. San Diego connection, Seattle connection, hence the Vedder Cup. Mariners, Padres. The rivalry continues.
Need some dramatic music to go with that, as you say.
Even flow?
Nothing in the heart of the plate to Clint Barmes. So 2-2 and another foul ball up the third base line. Feels like American League Baseball. Padre fan got the souvenir. It's a lot of San Diego hats and shirts before this game started. 2-2 to Barmes. Checks his swing. It's inside, ball 3.
Another good eye. Good take.
3-2 to Barmes with the runners going, and another foul outside of third.
Well, he's wearing it out down there in foul territory. Out in front of that pitch. See Clint with that practice swing right there, getting the hands through. And that's where Paxton is trying to pitch him in. You got to get those hands through. to get that barrel of the bat out in front. Breaking ball.
And he popped him up. Behind the plate, the shortstop Taylor calls, and he makes the catch for the third out of the inning. Clint Barmas battled, but the Padres leave the bases loaded, 4-0 Seattle. By Geico, July 15th, 1999, the Padres, the visiting team here in Seattle, for the very first regular season game at Safeco Field. Sellout crowd of over 44,000 left disappointed. Padres rallied for a 3-2 victory.
Beautiful venue.
Good yard.
And then the Kingdom went tumbling down.
It's one of the great stadium demolition videos of all time. Shortstop Chris Taylor in the 9-hole.
And CenturyLink, now where the Seahawks play, is where the Kingdom once stood.
Just over the left field fence. Kennedy bounces that one in. 1-1 to Taylor. All right, so the very first game here at Safeco, July 15th, 99. Check out the starting lineups. A lot of good memories there. This one's lined to right. Kemp is going back in the corner. He reaches out and makes a great running catch. Matt Kemp playing right field at Safeco for the first time in his career. Good job of spatial awareness. And he runs down that fly ball off the bat of Chris Taylor.
That's the name of my new band, Spatial Awareness. Playing tonight in Seattle and playing some nice right field is Matt Kemp. That is a long run, ladies and gentlemen. Extension at the last second. And I saw a Tony Gwynn fan right on the railing applauding Matt Kemp. There he is. They're applauding Matt Kemp, where the once great number 19 played. There's our man.
Happy Padre fan, one away here in the bottom of the second. Seattle got 4 off of Ian Kennedy in the first as Seth Smith takes a called strike. 0-1.
We'll have to see how Ian, as we take a look at Seth Smith, Padres rankings last season, and how he hit. He came up huge.
Especially in the first half of the year. Especially the first night of the season.
We will see how Ian Kennedy pitches him the second time around. He hit the ball hard, but was thrown out at second base, trying to stretch it into a double.
See a lot of neon green around Seattle these days. Smith takes curveball, strike 2. Padres left the bases loaded in the top of this inning. 2 out walks to Jerko, Middlebrooks, and Spangenberg. They left the sacks full 2 separate times on Sunday against the Diamondbacks. 1-2 to Smith. Another breaker inside this time, 2-2. San Diego's had those great runners in scoring position numbers offensively to start the season. Figured they weren't going to be that good all year long.
Cyclical.
Peaks and valleys.
Need to get on a tear, though.
Waves and troughs. That's the way it's been so far for this team.
I'd love to see this team, like any Padre fan, win 8 out of 10, 8 out of 12.
Seen some great pitching. We've seen some great offense. Want to see them all at the same time. And look, with the talent this club has, both pitching and offensive, when that happens, they very well could reel off an 8 or 9 out of 10. Layoff from Seth Smith there, and for the second time in his many at-bats, he's a full count against Ian Kennedy.
Threw him a fastball last time, 3-2, and he rifled it off the fence. Let's see what he throws him here.
Smith opened the game by lining one off the right field wall.
Change
on a
up.
3-2 pitch. Thrown out, trying to stretch it into a double. This time he grounds to Solarte, who dives in front of Jerko on the shift. Nice play by Jan Hervis over at first base. 2 away. That's not easy. That's another part of all those shifts, right?
That was a beautiful play.
Yeah.
What's the key there? Ian Kennedy, as soon as that ball is hit, he is on his horse. And Solarte, he has to reach and get extended at the last second, smothers that ball, and then it's not over yet. He's got to fire a strike to a moving target. So he throws it over the bag. That's his target as Kennedy covers for the old 3-1 play.
I brought up the shift because Jerko was pretty much right there to make a routine play, but you're not used to that as a first baseman.
Yeah, there are times when a first baseman, you can see the shadow of Jed Jerko. If he laid off there, that's Jed's ball, and that's going to come with time because you're going to be aggressive when you're over there at first base.
That one's looped into shallow left field. Upton's coming on, and it drops just in fair territory. Fan will grab it, and so a double for Brad Miller. Second in his many at-bats. Boy, that one was not fair by much. He just got it down for a 2-out, 2-bagger.
I think that hit paint. Or if you want to go old school, hit chalk.
Fair ball. Kid took it. And a ground rule double. That keeps it going for Cano.
Let's take another. It's worth another look as it right on the chalk, right on the paint.
Looks like paint.
It is paint.
Yeah.
They chalk the dirt area and they paint the grass.
Brad Miller in his stirrups, 2 for 2 with a couple of doubles.
You know, the velocity of Kennedy, I've noticed only 90. Usually it's a little higher than that. 92, 93.
Cano takes down by the feet. Nice stop by Norris.
Did he swing at that?
Miller's got to retreat. I'm sure you think so, but you know.
I thought he
check swing situation.
And then he tried to get out of the way. Or maybe it's wishful thinking on my part, but let's take a look. Does he swing? No. I thought he had swung.
Glad to hear you be honest about it.
Call him as I see him.
So the eyesight, that's the problem. No, way late on that fastball. 1-2.
He will chase the high fastball, and the first at bat, which was a single, you see the hot zone. See the red part? That is the area where he likes it. When you start expanding the zone out here, not so much.
Went down and got it for the RBI single his first time up. Behind in the count, 1-2. Kennedy delivers and Cano fouls it back.
Tried to go up the ladder again.
Right on the velocity though, 90-91 tonight for me and Kennedy. Has hit 92. Cano again kind of has to step out of the way. He's doing some tap dancing on those pitches down and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the second baseman.
Well, second curveball where he's gone down and in. And he holds up. He likes the swing of that pitch, but he recognized that it's going to be well out of the zone. If it's closer, he's going to be hacking at that. That's why Ian's trying to entice him to go swing at that pitch. Ian wants to roll over the signs again.
Two to Cano, and off the handle, he fouls it back the other way. Well, he got the big free agent contract last year, and for very good reason. Most hits in baseball since 2009. Miguel Cabrera has, what, 2 more?
Impressive.
And he fouls it off again.
Talk about plate coverage there. Cano swinging the pitches way inside and then going after that pitch way outside.
Kennedy and Cano, teammates with the Yankees, 2007, 8, 9.
Series of signs.
More of a neon yellow than a neon green for noise. 2-2, and he rolls over. Ground ball to Solarte, and he will flip to Kennedy for the 3rd out of the inning. Nice bounce back inning from Ian Kennedy. A 2-out double, but he strands him.
Today, the ALCS ring that he won when he was with the Royals. The scouting director and the GM for the Royals actually flew here to bring it to him. So he now has 2 ALCS rings, one from Tampa in 2008. He says he's not going to wear any of them because he's going to wait till he gets a World Series ring. Buddy Black got a chance to see the ring. He said it brought up a lot of memories from when he won one with the Royals. He says this one, though, a lot more blingier. It's a new word.
It's a beautiful ring, isn't it, Chris?
It was, yes. I blinded. I couldn't really see because there were so many diamonds.
You know, I like the philosophy of James Shields not wearing that ring until the World Series. Hopefully that World Series has an SD on it.
He also said no one gets to sit next to him on the plane, and he's going to keep it in his chest pocket because he doesn't trust any of his teammates.
You don't want to fall asleep on the late-night flight back to San Diego tomorrow. Top of the order for the Padres against Paxton, Almonte, Norris, and Kemp. And the former Mariner, Abraham Almonte, is ahead in the count, 2-1. Grounded back to Paxton, his first time up. Thanks to Chris Budden for that report on James Shields' pennant-winning ring. Almonte up the middle for a base hit. That's the first of the night for the Padres. And a nice start to the top of the third inning here at Safeco.
There goes the no-hitter. Paxton last half inning had difficulty hitting his spots, walking 3 in a row. Hopefully for the Padres, they keep that good eye, draw some walks, and if he misses in the strike zone, have the Padres start hitting some mistakes.
Derek Norris struck out looking, his first time up, 0 for 1. Padres went down quietly in the first, and here's a ground ball to short. That's 1 and 2. 6-4-3 double play off the bat of Derek Norris. Just like that, 2 outs and nobody aboard against Paxton.
When Paxton is really effective, he buries that fastball in. Hitters try to be quick to it, and just happened to be on the ground, and a nice turn by Taylor. Look how quick he is. The flip throw. And Cano, he's done it so many times at second. Doesn't have to be the perfect throw for Robinson Cano.
Couple gold gloves for the Seattle second baseman when he was a Yankee. So now bases empty, 2 outs, and Matt Kemp. Not a lot of playing time against the Mariners in his career. And he takes ball 1. Been outstanding against left-handed pitching this season, as several of the Padre hitters have. Kemp's average up in the 370 range against southpaws. Swings through that one, 2-1.
See pitch number 3 down the middle at 96.
Balls in his strike to Kemp. Mentioned he's playing at Safeco for the first time in his career. Only 2 other ballparks that he hasn't played in, Cleveland and in the Bronx. See that game break, by the way, Marlins and Dodgers. Giancarlo Stanton did a very bad thing to a baseball.
I can only imagine. I've seen it in person.
Mike and Mark have that for you coming up. 3-2. Kemp hits this one well out to right. Cruz went back, now comes in, makes the catch, and that's it for the Padres here in the third. They trail the Mariners 4-0. Nelson Cruz coming up. Mike Pomerantz, Mark Sweeney, thank you. Here is Nelson Cruz, and Mud, I like the way Mark Sweeney just put that. There's nobody like Giancarlo Stanton in baseball right now.
You think of Dodger Stadium when it opened, 1962, 1964.
No, two. Right, I'm sorry.
Only 5 times. Somebody's hit it out of the ballpark. Out of the park, out of the entire building,
over
the pavilion.
Yes. That's a monster home run.
Of all the great hitters who have stepped foot inside the batter's box there at Dodger Stadium, that's impressive.
Nelson Cruz swings and misses 2-2. 5 times since 1962.
Last at bat for Nelson Cruz. You see the hot zone. You try to stay out of the heart of the plate, and that's exactly what Ian Kenny's trying to do. Away, down, and in maybe a little bit. Trying to hit those yellow, and by that swing there, that last pitch was on the outer, off the plate. He does have good plate coverage. That's one of the reasons why you see the numbers he has put up recently. Heavy workload.
Breaks his bat and hits to Middlebrooks over at third base. Throws him out for the first out here in the bottom of the third, and that bat did not just break, it broke into like a dozen pieces out on the infield. It's going to take a couple of moments for that boy to clean up.
And why did it break into 1,000 pieces? Because Ian Kennedy threw the changeup down and away and off the end of the bat. Shrapnel, kindling. Easy play for Will Middlebrooks. And where was that pitch? Down and away, out of the hot zone.
Straight to the fireplace.
Be careful, kids. If that happens at home, you know, have an adult pick that up. You don't want to get slivers.
Big at bat first time up for Kyle Seager. He's responsible for a lot of the damage that's been done. A 3-run home run, his 4th of the year. This time batting with 1 out and nobody on base. Takes low. Hit speed 101.6 miles per hour. Shift against him on the infield. There's a laser beam shot out of here to right. Got out in a hurry.
Fastball down. Throws that head. Great extension.
Ahead of Kennedy here. 2 balls, no strikes, and that one hits the outside corner. 2-1. Kennedy making his first career start against the Mariners. Three balls and a strike. It was a tough and long first inning for Kennedy, including a homer to Seager. In the second, couple of nice defensive plays behind him, a 2-out double, but he got through it pretty quickly. And now what should be the second out here in the third. Another flip from Solarte to Kennedy. He's been busy over there. 2 gone. Tuesday night, Safeco Field in Seattle.
They love their M's up here. It's like every 3rd or 4th fan up here, you see some type of Mariner jersey. Even going back, Junior, Buhner, Ichiro.
And some neat players come through here.
Mike Schooler.
Logan Morrison takes strike 1.
Tom Paciorek.
Go back a ways now. Here's Jay Buhner.
There's Bone, number 19. Hey, anytime your name is mentioned on Seinfeld, you've hit it big.
How could you trade Jay Buhner?
Kid's got a cannon for an arm.
Saw the numbers a few minutes ago in the last 11 games for the guy they call Lomo. In that time, he's raised his average from 149 to 229. It's a good couple weeks.
Bunch some hits together. That's exactly what will happen. Keep it away from him here. And chase as well.
One of the hits was a big hit Friday night, walk-off homer against the A's. here at home. So you get the walk-off homer. Okay, we're going to dump some ice water on you. That's pretty standard operating procedure.
Cuidado, basura, trash. Really? Is that a way to treat a teammate?
It's a new one. Nelson Cruz with the dugout garbage. 1-2 to Morrison. He hits it well out to right center. Kemp is chasing it down. He is looking up, and it's gone. Solo shot, not a walk-off. 6th of the season for Morrison. 2-out long ball, and now 5-0 Seattle here in the 3rd.
The amazing thing about that swing, it's almost like Morrison wasn't really on it. He kind of went out and got it a little bit out in front. Out in front just a little bit. Hit it on the right part of the bat, that's for sure. Maybe it looked like it was an off-speed pitch.
Ackley takes strike 1. The garbage man. Fastball at 89 missing.
That home run, Morrison, check the hand of Ian Kennedy. The reason why I was out in front of it a little bit, it was the changeup. He gets it out in front, maybe coming in a little bit too hot. Ian's been around 90, 91. That changeup would it come in about 89-ish, 88. Maybe it was softer than that, but he caught it out in front.
That one's fouled off at the plate, still 1-2.
I think I misread that 89 or 90 on another fastball. But that was most definitely a changeup out of the hand of Kennedy on the home run.
That one gets him, and the curveball strikes Ackley out. 3rd strikeout of the night for Kennedy, but Seattle adds another on the Morrison homer. T-Mobile game changer, and Mark Grant, we're going to take a look at Justin Upton. Since April 25th, only Bryce Harper and Evan Gattis have driven in more runs across all of Major League Baseball.
And with the way that Justin Upton is swinging the bat, hopefully more base runners and continuing that trend.
He will lead off here in the top of the 4th inning to be followed by Yangervis Solarte and Jed Jerko. If you joined us late, one of the big pieces of news tonight is that Will Myers was a late scratch as a sore left wrist. Was originally in the starting lineup and after batting practice taken out. So that's certainly something to keep an eye on in the next couple of days because Myers has been such an important part of the Padre offensive attack.
And hopefully it's just a minor thing. That by maybe taking one day off, it doesn't turn into a huge issue.
You might be saying to yourself, didn't he have a broken wrist? He did. It was the other one. So that, I think, is good news.
Talking ball with Austin Hedges.
Upton hits that one hard, but foul.
Well, he gets to the baseball so quickly, doesn't he?
Fun to watch him swing a bat.
I was just going to say that.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, great minds think alike. He is fun to watch.
Paxton ahead of him 1-2, and that one is strike 3 called.
And that's not where Paxton wanted it. See Zunino, he wanted it up out of the zone, hopefully to chase it. He missed with location and got the call. Zunino wants it up. He missed his location. He frames it and he brings it back up and he gets called. Ball looked like it was maybe down a little bit, in a little bit.
Down and in, according to Fox Tracks. Solarte, first pitch swinging right back to Paxton. 2 away. Seattle gave their starter a 4-run lead in the bottom of the 1st inning. Padres loaded the bases in the 2nd, but left them loaded with 2 outs. Jed Jerko got that started with a 2-out walk. Good to see. Fastball at 96 misses down and in. Jed has played just 1 game here at Safeco. That was back in May of 2013. Hit a 2-run homer. Loops this one into shallow right. Cano is going out. Cruz coming in. He's got all kinds of trouble with it, and he can't make the catch. Nelson Cruz, not known for the defense, unable to make the play on a pop-up to shallow right field.
The short hop trapped it. Not the best jump on that ball. Maybe broke back on the swing. Base hit for Jed Jerko. Hey, take him any way you can get him.
Second hit of the night, and now Middlebrooks for the 2nd time tonight with Jerko on first, 2 away. Take strike 1. Interesting observation you made earlier about Paxton and the catcher Zunino asking him to slow it down a little bit. Usually I feel like when guys get in trouble, pitchers, they slow down, and the catcher, the pitching coach will say, hey, pick up the pace a little bit. Yeah. But it's kind of the opposite here, and you can see him rushing sometimes.
It looks like he does want to get that ball in his hand and go to work quickly.
Middlebrooks hits that one through for a base hit to left field. Middlebrooks aboard for the 2nd time tonight. And again, like they did in the 2nd, the Padres in business with 2 outs. Back-to-back singles for Jerko and Middlebrooks.
Hopefully the Padres work quickly in this inning, at least get 1, maybe 2, as Middlebrooks hunts a fastball just out of the diving Taylor. Padres need that big hit, that extra base hit. At least get on the board.
Only they could designate someone to do that. Oh, wait. The DH.
Here he is right here.
Yeah. Checks his swing and a pitch missing. 1 ball, no strikes. Spangenberg walked his first time up. Padres had the bases loaded in the 2nd with 2 outs. Jerko, Middlebrooks, and Spangenberg all walked. When Barma's nice at bat eventually popped out to end the inning. 2-0. Padres trying to chip away against James Paxton. All balls and no strikes.
Ball 3 and a dandy.
Got to imagine Spangenberg's taken all the way.
Once again, working away as Clint Barnes waits on deck.
Turco leads off second, Middlebrooks off first.
Look at that, pitch into the L. Nothing over the heart of the plate to the left-handed hitters. Nothing. All evening.
3-1 to Spangenberg, and he takes a good hack. Fouls it back, now 3-2.
That was probably by mistake.
Ball 4. Second walk in his many trips to the plate for Corey Spangenberg, and for the second time tonight, Barmes is going to face Paxton with the bases loaded and 2 away. Tonight's game presented in HD by Sony 4K. Here's Barmes.
Outfield swung a little bit towards the left center field gap. Infield looks like pretty straight up and back.
Big long battle the first time up between Barmes and Paxton, a 9-pitch at bat.
Had a few pitches to rip at, but once again consistently down and into the righty Clint Barmes and the rest of the righty hitters tonight.
0-2. Changeup from Paxton had Barmes out in front. And the Padres, who left the bases loaded twice in a 2-1 loss on Sunday in Arizona, have the bases loaded again here with 2 outs and an 0-2 count.
You know, that's what's going to make James Paxton a quality big league starter. He's got 95 to 97 on the fastball, and he's got the nice changeup and that breaking ball through. Can you imagine if he harnesses all that? He can command those pitches.
1-2 to Barmes, and he got it. Strike 3 called right on the corner. And for the second time tonight, the Padres lead the bases loaded. They trail 5-0.
Trade brought to you by Ram Trucks.
3-2 pitch to Sam Fuld. Strike
That was Sunday, and Felix Hernandez probably still feeling pretty good after finishing things off the other day. That was also a sweep of the A's.
Hey, anytime your name is mentioned in the same sentence as Walter Johnson.
Yeah.
Really? You're doing something special.
Catcher Zunino 0 for 1, struck out. And now Kennedy ahead of him, 0-2. Ian Kennedy gave up 4 runs in the first inning. The big shot, a 3-run homer from Seager. Another in the third. Logan Morrison, a 2-out solo shot. 0-2 to Zunino, and that one's hammered to left field for a base hit. Left it up in the zone. Zunino didn't miss it.
Hey, just an observation. Notice Ian Kennedy like going over his head a lot to maybe try a little stretching before a pitch as he hangs the curveball there. And Zunino's all over it. Just an observation. Will Myers fan. Charger fan.
Shortstop Taylor out of the 9-hole. Swings at the first pitch, lines it to right. Kemp going back, and on the warning track makes the catch. 1 away. Second time Taylor's lined out to right field. Kemp made a spectacular grab the first time. Talking about Felix Hernandez and the youngest to 2,000 career strikeouts. July 11, just over 28 years old. Sam McDowell, Walter Johnson. So he did it more quickly than Nolan Ryan did.
Quite a talent. And you know what probably the most refreshing thing about that whole story is? I hear that kid is a great kid. Felix Hernandez.
Happy kid too.
Yeah.
Smiling.
Very grateful. Very humble.
Runner on first, 1 away, Seth Smith. Single in the first inning, grounded out his last time up. Big outfielder, played in 136 games with the Padres last year. Saw him lead off a couple of times. And 2.
When you take a look at that shift, look at that. I mean, that's a big slice of pie right there. And we know if Ian Kennedy throws him off speed, he's going to pull the ball that way, correct? Curveball got him on the foot. A lot of the breaking stuff from Ian Kennedy tonight has been down and in. And once you make that stride and you've got that weight transfer, it's really tough to get out of the way. And it gets Seth Smith right on the right foot.
On the swoosh. So Smith at first base. That pushes Zunino to second. 1 out for Brad Miller, who has a pair of ground rule doubles. Balls in, no strikes to the designated hitter for the Seattle Mariners as Frank Garces starts to fire away in the Padre bullpen. Ian Kennedy's next pitch will be number 85.
Tell you where that bullpen is located as a reliever, you're going to get an earful from those Mariner fans. You are right up against that fence. Oh, where'd that miss?
Inside, maybe. Oh wow, yeah. family, and he's got a nice Frank Garces video going. Three nothing to Miller, taken all the way, and that's a strike from Kennedy. Miller hit the line in left field his last time for a ground rule double. His first time up, he hit the line in right. Zunino at second base, single to lead off the inning. Ball four. A tough night for Ian Kennedy. Bases loaded, one out. Here in the fourth.
Hey, Padre fans, get your chance to snag a Padres hoodie this Saturday. Baseball Night in San Diego giveaway for all fans is presented by Toyota. Get tickets at Padres.com to see the Padres take on the Washington Nationals. First pitch is at 5:40. Walk away with a free hoodie. It's a quality item.
Could use a hoodie tonight. It'd be good here in Seattle.
It is a good hoodie night.
Yeah. Bases loaded, one out, and Robinson Cano. Darren Balsley, the pitching coach, out with the entire Padre infield. Strategizing for a big situation here in the fourth inning.
Ian just looks different tonight. The consistent velocity doesn't seem to be there. Once again, just an observation.
Some guys enjoy these situations. Robinson Cano, great success. With the bases loaded, that's the deal here right now. Zunino on third, Smith on second, Miller on first. And he takes a big hack there.
That was a free swing right there. He had it in his head that he was going to swing. If he got a fastball, doesn't matter where it's going to be, he had it set to swing.
Kennedy started him off with a fastball. Change up this time, 1-1. Two balls and a strike. 90th pitch of the night for Kennedy. Cano, RBI single in the first against Ian. Came around to score on the Seager homer. Cano asked for time. Cano takes strike two.
Ooh, thank you. Ian got a call there. Pitch number 4, well off the plate.
Two to Cano. And did he hold up? He did not. Cano run up by the third base umpire Mike Winters. And that's a big second out for Ian Kennedy.
Well, as Robinson Cano talks to Mark Wegner, that was that free swing fastball. And you notice the locations of these pitches. Ian kind of off a little bit, trying to pepper away. He gets the call there. Now that sets up the curveball. Down and in. Nice block by Derek Norris. And I thought he went, quite honestly, even from center field. Oh, absolutely. No question. You don't think so?
Cano not happy about it as he walked back to the first base dugout. Big fourth strikeout for Kennedy, 2 gone.
You think he went?
And now this guy, also great numbers with the bases loaded, and more home runs than anybody in baseball this season. I thought he went. First pitch swinging, fouls it off right side, out of play.
He likes that high fastball.
14 homers, tops in baseball. Came in with the second best batting average in the American League. Second most RBIs in the American League. Nelson Cruz became the first Mariner with 10 or more homers in April since Ken Griffey Jr. did it.
Pretty good company.
Ian Kennedy's ahead of him, though, 0-2. Padres have left the bases loaded twice tonight. Kennedy trying to have Seattle do so. 0-2 to Cruz, and he got him. With the bases loaded, Ian Kennedy strikes out Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz to get out of the jam. A couple of big strikeouts for IPK. Padres still down 5-0.
Fan you are of the game. I think those of us in the game, you know, who really follow and study the game, would prefer the pitcher to hit. And I think maybe the casual fan would like to see the big hitter, would like to see David Ortiz, would like to see, as we're here in Seattle, Edgar Martinez. And I get it. There's something to that. I get it. And I think the way we have it now, it's a nice balance.
Buddy Black understands both sides of the DH conversation argument. Mark Grant, pros and cons.
Yes, and you can go either way, but like Buddy said, you're a product of your environment. When you're a kid and you grew up in a National League city, you're used to watching or being a fan of that team. Pitcher hits. I'm sure a lot of kids up here in the great Northwest, Mariner fans, they prefer the DH, and he makes some very valid points. Veterans players, absolutely extends their careers. No question about it. Don't have to play defense. Talk about arguments against the DH. Takes out the strategy of the game, the double switches, when to pull the pitcher, when to go to the bullpen. Chance to see Odrisamer Despaigne get a knock. Because if there were no DH, or if there was a DH, he wouldn't have a new closet.
And then what? You're right, though. I think it's one of those that if you're for or against it, probably not going to change your mind anytime soon. Like, we all feel the way we feel. You're not going to convince me to love it if I hate it, and vice versa. I love watching Cashner hit. That's me.
Andrew Cashner loves to hit.
Almonte pops this one back up our direction. Just over our heads. Little foul ball on a check swing.
Boy, that was an emergency swing, wasn't it?
Almonte leading it off against Paxton here in the 5th, trying to get something going for the Padres offensively. Ian Kennedy loaded the bases with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. Struck out Cano and Cruz to get out of it. 3-2, and Almonte back this way again. Did you bring your glove tonight?
I did not bring my guante to Seattle.
Couple close calls. Oh, there you are. Almonte takes high, ball 4. All right, Commissioner Rob Manfred on the designated hitter. Over the long haul, I am a status quo person on the DH. I think the difference between the 2 leagues is a source of debate among fans, and I'm a big believer in the idea of when people are talking about baseball, it's a good thing. I like that. And by the way, I don't understand this argument from some people that says, well, if you have it in one, you have to have it in the other. I don't agree with that. I think it's kind of fun and quirky. Fly ball to right field. Cruz kind of zigzagging around and eventually settles under that one to make the catch and retire Derek Norris.
You know what I'd like to see get rid of? Interleague play. Why? Because I'm a product of my environment. I grew up in Chicago, north side, south side, one or the other.
And never the twain shall meet.
And except in the All-Star game and in the World Series.
That's it.
That's just what I grew up watching.
Well, now with the 15 teams in each league,
right?
Mathematically,
you can't do it.
Right. You have to have interleague play.
Realignment. Would you like to see just one big league and just have like 4 sections realigned?
Well, I think it's interesting as you see winning the division perhaps become less and less important if they were to ever add another wild card spot or 2, which
let's make it like the NBA. Everybody makes it except the last place team.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise you, right? And I'm not saying next year or the year after, but eventually adding another playoff team or 2. And if you do that,
Game 7 of the World Series will be Christmas Eve.
Well, there's talk too about a shorter season. 154 games back in the conversation.
I'm in favor of that as well. How about you?
Sure. I think these guys go through so much.
And if you want your star players to be ready to go, and you want people to come to the ballpark and see those players healthy with a little bit of chance of more rest, I'm all for the 154 game schedule.
I get it. Kemp hits that one in the air out to right. Easier chance for Cruz. 2 gone. As Almonte goes back to first base. But yeah, the 154 is back in the news, and you know, teams now more than ever before maybe are trying to figure out ways to keep their guys more fresh mentally and physically. The Mariners bought a new airplane this year for travel, and obviously they're an outlier geographically, so they travel a lot more than any other team in the big leagues. But they're trying different things to try and keep their guys as healthy and fresh as possible over the long season. Strike 1 to Justin Upton. Cal Ripken's record probably pretty safe.
I would have to say so. Yes, Seattle, the closest teams. Oakland, Minnesota.
Neither particularly close.
In interleague play.
Yeah. Travel 44,000 miles over the course of the season. Strike 3 called to Justin Upton. And a leadoff walk, but no big deal for James Paxton. He pitches around it. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Hey, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Mark, appreciate that. Yeah, Chris Bryant, he looks like he's feeling okay.
Yeah.
See him at Petco Park next week. Nationals come in Thursday through Sunday, and then the Cubbies in San Diego. Kyle Seager leading off, then Logan Morrison and Dustin Ackley against Ian Kennedy, who is battling tonight.
Battling's a good word.
Trouble started early with Seager's homer. Before that, Seattle had taken a 1-0 lead on Cano's RBI single. Mariners added one in the third on a Morrison homer, and this was the big blast in this game.
Fastball down. Went down and got it. It runs in the family. Kyle Seager's brother with the Dodgers.
Rips that one to first, but Solarte standing right there. Man, I love spray charts. It's incredible, right? They got the big shift over on the right side of the infield, and the guy doesn't even have to take a half a step. One away.
You know what that's called? A big league hang with him. You hang a breaky ball, he's out in front of it, and Solarte is right there to squeeze it for the out.
One gone for Morrison. Top of the inning, we were talking about the psychology of staying fresh, physically, mentally, all of that, and how into it the teams are. Our friend Scott Miller, who we see on Fox Sports San Diego, he wrote about it. He wrote about it today on Bleacher Report. Really interesting story about the different things different teams are doing to try and gain a competitive edge when it comes to whether it's sleep or rest or whatever.
You know what I don't understand? How teams don't have in their clubhouse or locker room a hyperbaric chamber. The New Jersey Devils, I think, have one. And what it does is you sit in there and it's 100% oxygen, and it gets the oxygen for recovery time for your body.
Supposed to be good for the muscles, right?
For the muscles as well, right.
Hear more about that in some of the other sports. I think there's some baseball players that have messed around with the hyperbaric chambers.
Ryan Klesko had when he traveled with him. He brought it on the road. You plug it in the wall and it would kind of blow up like one of those jumpies. You crawl inside it, you zip it up.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Morrison goes the other way. Upton's had a quiet night defensively. Makes the catch. 2 gone here in the 5th. First fly ball left tonight for Justin Upton. Ian Kennedy up over 100 pitches. Now it's interesting, right? Back in the 4th inning, Kennedy struggling a little bit. Padres trailing in the game. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and the pitcher spot would have come up had this been a National League game, but no decision for Buddy Black here tonight.
Well, here's the other deal. It allows you to, with the DH, to have your pitcher go back out there and find that groove. You might get 3 more innings out of the guy. For when the Padres come up to hit, you don't have to pinch hit.
Ackley checks his swing, 1-1. So do you consider that as a National League guy, but as a pitcher, a positive or a negative?
I think it's a positive for a pitcher.
So you like that part of the DH?
Yes. Allows a pitcher to stay out there and possibly find that groove.
Up the middle, right past Kennedy. Ackley into center field for a 2-out single. So push came to shove, and Rob Manfred called you up. 619-555-1212. Hey, Mud, it's the commissioner. Yes or no on the DH in the National League?
I say no on the DH. Keep the pitcher in there. You're a position player, and in this game of baseball, you play a position, you hit.
There you go. That's it for Ian Kennedy tonight. A 2-out single in the bottom of the 5th inning. He departs after 106 pitches. Mariners up 5-0. only 25 miles from Petco Park. By Jack in the Box, sent to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. And by Kona Brewing Company. One life, right? Don't blow it. Mahalo.
Hey, Jesse, you want a piece of gum?
Please. You know where I can find one? Sure. How about the gum wall at the Pike Place Market, downtown Seattle? I like the SD. Sean Kelly comes out of the bullpen in relief of Ian Kennedy. 2 outs, Ackley on first, and the catcher Zunino at the plate to see Sean Kelly. Pitching change brought to you by El Cajon Ford. Zunino takes strike 1.
Sean was reinstated from the 15-day DL. It was last Friday. Sean missed 13 games. Strained left calf. So he's out there in relief of Ian Kennedy.
Traded for tonight's starting center fielder, his teammate Abraham Almonte. Now they're playing together. He's got some gum. Zunino swings and misses 2-2.
In the debate of designated hitter for one Sean Kelly, he is in favor of the DH.
Yeah, I heard that.
Talked about the pregame show.
Runner goes, pitch outside. Norris throw down to second base. Got it. Nice tag by Jed Jerko. 13th catcher caught stealing for Derek Norris this season. And Sean Kelly gets some help from his backstop. Ackley thrown out trying to take second base. 5-0 Seattle after 5. James Paxton, the starter for Seattle, hasn't been overpowering or dominant, but a couple of big strikeouts in key situations. A ground ball double play, and the Padres have twice left the bases loaded against him. Meanwhile, some long balls for Seattle offensively. Seager, a 3-run shot in the first inning that gave Seattle a 4-0 lead, and then Logan Morrison adding a solo homer in the third off of Ian Kennedy. They went 4 2/3 innings tonight and allowed 5 runs on 8 hits. Seattle a 5-0 lead as we open up the 6th inning here at Safeco Field. With Mark Grant, Chris Budden, and our entire Fox Sports San Diego crew, I'm Jesse Agler. That's Yangervis Solarte leading off against Paxton, who's closing in on 100 pitches. Grounded back to the pitcher his last time up, flew to center in his first AB. 1-2. A lot of talk tonight about the designated hitter, but not helping the Padres offensively. Just 3 hits against Paxton. In the air to center. Ackley going over, calls off Cruz, and makes the catch. My bad.
Well, you hear it all along in the world of baseball that the center fielder is the quarterback. He is clearly saying, I got it, I got it, I got it. Looks like he's giving it a pretty good yell as well. And then all of the last second there, Cruz pulls the ripcord and bails, but still almost screening Ackley.
Ackley ended up catching it almost underhanded. Yeah. Ugly play in center field, but
that's got to be an uncomfortable position to be in.
Seen too many bad collisions over the years as Jerko pops this one back behind the plate.
You know, you just made a point a little bit ago, Jesse, and it's worth talking about, but
thank you.
Paxton, he's only got 4 strikeouts, right?
Yeah.
You know, with his stuff, he's throwing 96, 97. He's throwing that curveball, but yet the Padre hitters are making some contact. They just haven't been able to take care of those walks that they got in the 3rd inning, 2nd inning, left them loaded. You see the breakdown, 100 pitches.
He's walked 5 guys.
Yeah. Haven't been able to come with that big hit.
That's it.
2 times leaving the bases loaded.
Same as they did Sunday in Arizona. That was a 2-1 loss. Down 5 this time. Jerko swings and misses, 3-2. Nice night for Jed. Looped a single in front of Nelson Cruz his last time. Walked back in the 2nd inning. Stays alive there.
Living inside Paxton. I'll tell you what, if he's going away to righties, it's by accident. I don't think it's by design.
Payoff pitch to Jerko, swung on and missed. Went up the ladder at 96. And there's strikeout number 5, 2 away.
Well, with that strikeout going up the ladder, time now for the Cholula flamethrower, and with the lefty James Paxton on the mound, he has gotten it up to 97, and that is hot sauce no matter where you're at. San Diego up the 5 to Seattle. That's hot sauce.
Will Middlebrook's been on base twice. He takes 96 inside, 1-0. Hasn't started a game in the last week. 2 balls, no strikes. You know, he brings the great defense over to 3rd, and get the bat going, that'd be great. So far, so good in that department tonight.
Got to get it going collectively. And they know that.
Padres managed 1 run against 5 Arizona pitchers on Sunday afternoon. One to Middlebrooks, and he hits it well out to center. Ackley is going back. He's in the gap. He is still going back, and he makes a sliding catch against the wall. Will Middlebrooks stung it out to right center field, but a nice running catch by Dustin Ackley, and the Padres go down in order here in the 6th. Maybe the best hit ball of the night for San Diego, but Dustin Ackley slides and catches.
Mariners leading 5-0, and 2 days ago on Sunday, Andrew Cashner pitched on Mother's Day in honor of his mom, Jane, who 10 years ago defeated breast cancer and about 8 months ago was diagnosed with leukemia. Well, the pink bat, the pink shoes, they are on their way to Conroe, Texas for his mom. Every Mother's Day, he sends all the pink stuff that he wears to his mom, and she keeps it in her office. So after all these years, a lot of pink swag in the Conroe, Texas house.
That's nice, Chris. Thank you very much. And hopefully that pink stuff continues to keep going to Conroe, Texas for a long time. Good story.
Mike Zunino lines that one down the left field line, but a foul ball. Catcher was at the plate when Dustin Ackley was caught stealing by Derek Norris to end the last inning. And the Bros are very excited over the foul ball. Two balls, two strikes. Yeah, Cash was great on Sunday.
Yes, he was.
Mariner catcher 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. 2-2 from Sean Kelly is hitting the air to center and deep. Almonte is going back. He's looking up, and that's the third home run of the night for the Mariners. Mike Zunino out to deep left center field, his 4th of the season, and the Mariners now lead 6-0 here in the 6th.
Once again, the Mariners capitalizing on a mistake, a 2-2 breaking ball out of the hand of Sean Kelly. Just kind of rolled up there.
Called strike to Chris Taylor. Both times he sent it Matt Kemp's direction. The first time, a great running catch by the Padre right fielder. Kelly ahead of him, 0-2 after the homer.
Have you seen mistakes being crushed with regularity like we've seen?
It's unbelievable. It seems like every time a guy puts one where he doesn't want to, he's paying the ultimate price for it. We've seen it with Shields. We've seen it with everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, the cliche is, hey, they're big league hitters. They're not going to miss those. But that's not always the case.
A lot of times they swing through it, pop it up, top it.
Miss it.
It hasn't been the case recently.
Talked the other day about how so many of the Padres' wins and losses has been by 4 or more runs.
Correct.
Mariners are kind of in the opposite. Every game they played has been close, it seems like. And
a lot of extra inning games, 1-run games.
Tonight they're up to the big lead. Ground ball left side. Barmas on the backhand. Long throw, and they can't get him. Taylor got up the line in a hurry. An infield single.
And in games when we see the opposition hitting home runs, the starting pitcher, the reliever, whoever the case is, they will even be quoted in the paper after saying, you know what, I need to hit my spots. Just didn't hit my spots. When I'm throwing the ball over the plate like that, and it happens, the majority of times you're going to get hurt.
Seth Smith hit by a pitch on his foot the last time up. Ian Kennedy's curveball got him right on the Nike swoosh. The Seth Smith shift. Say it 3 times fast. Actually, maybe not. Pro's pro, and he takes down from Kelly 1-0. Mariners are a team that came into this season with all kinds of high expectations. They got off to the slow start. They're trying to make the playoffs for the first time in 14 years. That 2001 team that won 116 games, that's the last time they made the playoffs.
Wow. And just because you win 116 games doesn't guarantee you anything. They lost in the playoffs, right?
Yankees blew right by him in the ALCS. 5 games. Smith holds up. 2 balls and a strike.
That's when the Kingdom was rocking. Place was jumping. 116 was here, but back, remember like the Langston game?
95.
Against the Angels?
Yeah.
That's when the Kingdom was rocking.
Seth Smith up the middle. It's a base hit. He beat the shift. Went the other way. Taylor is thinking about 3 now. Retreats to second. Nice job of hitting by Seth Smith. You know, they couldn't play at the Kingdome in 2001, Mud, because this is what happened to the Kingdome once this place was built and the football stadium was up as well.
All the ghosts and all the stories going up in dust. March 2000. The day they said goodbye to the Kingdome.
Justin Ruggiano going to run for Seth Smith. Imagine he'll stay into the outfield situation. Runners on first and second, nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. Brad Miller has been aboard 3 times tonight. Pair of doubles and a walk.
Go, Brad.
Talking about the Mariners and their playoff history and their big playoff drought. One of just 2 franchises to never play in a World Series. The only one in the American League. The other, we will see at Petco this weekend. Nationals/Expos. Miller sounded like he broke his bat, but he hits it out to left. Upton comes over, makes the catch, gets into a good throwing position, and no chance to tag up for Taylor.
Jesse, we're going to go back to Mike Zunino's at bat in the home run. I want to know, see where the glove is for Derek Norris, and then when he releases the ball on contact, it's up just a little bit. And it's a hanging breaking ball, and the higher the breaking ball, the less it breaks. It kind of just rolls up there, and Mike Zunino hit a mistake to left center field for the home run. Just that little bit makes the difference.
So Miller flies out for the first out of the inning. Here's Robinson Cano. And Sean Kelly delivers strike 1.
You know, we've seen this similar with Andrew Castro and James Shields as far as missing location. The opposition just taking advantage of that right now.
Last time up, Cano struck out with the bases loaded. James Shields will pitch tomorrow night. Thanks to the day off yesterday, Padres able to skip the 5th spot in the rotation, which would have been due up tomorrow. So Shields will go on normal rest.
So Shields is pitching tomorrow. You know what that means.
Bad news for the Mariners. And tops it, weekly foul back towards his team's dugout. Now takes in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sean Kelly working him down, down, down.
Sounds like a spray steam song.
Got him.
Hold on to it. Yes, he did. That was sweet.
And it's only the 2nd out of the inning.
Did you see that? Derek Norris was so excited he wanted to get back in the dugout. Now, if that ball deflects off his chest, it's a foul ball. But it hit his glove, stayed in the air, and he caught it. Watch this. 2 strikes, foul tip off the glove. Way to rebound. That's a catch. That's an out. Look at that glove on impact. And then Derek realizes, turns it over in time, and catches it on the fly. That's nice.
Little sly smile, too, after he realized he was ahead of himself in the out department. Now 2 gone, and Nelson Cruz, who like Cano last time, struck out with the bases loaded. Tried to hit a home run there and comes up empty. 0-1. Foul back. So Derek Norris thought it was the 3rd out of the inning. Oh,
my bad.
My bad. That's on me. There you go. How many outs? 2 away. That's awesome. That was a big play.
Yeah.
Got Cano, now trying to finish Cruz. 0-2 in the dirt. Into the outfield for a base hit. Taylor's being waved. He will score an RBI single for Nelson Cruz, who drives in his 28th run of this season. 7-0 Mariners in the 6th. Got ahead of him, couldn't finish him off.
It's right. And it's just one of those pitches where you get the ground ball, 1, 2, 3 hopper, and just beats it because it looks like Clint Barmas was playing him to pull out of his reach there. And the Mariners add on.
Ian Kennedy allowed 5 runs, now a pair against Sean Kelly here in the 6th. Seager takes ball 1. All-star and a Gold Glover last year, trying to pull the average up after a slow start. And a ground ball up the middle. Barmas this time was playing the right way. Tough throw to first. Solarte got it. Nice play. Clint Barmas, with a high degree of difficulty, makes the big play for the 3rd out of the inning. They're going to hold everybody on the field as Lloyd McClendon decides whether or not to challenge this one. For the moment, it's out number 3. McClendon goes back down the stairs, and the Padres will be able to come off the field. Nice play by Clint Barmas, helping out Sean Kelly and Yangervis Solarte. Good stretch over at first. 7-0, 2-7. Very close call at first base to end the bottom of the 6th. Yangervis Solarte stretching for the throw from Clint Barmas.
Okay, now when does the ball hit his glove, right? There. Now is his foot on or off the bag? Kind of tough to tell because you're blinded by the bag and you see the ball of his foot. The runner still hasn't touched the bag, but was he in contact with the bag? Kind of tough to tell.
I believe he was. Danny Farquhar, the new pitcher for Seattle.
Hey, any way you look at it, that was a heck of a play by Clint Barmes. I didn't even think he was going to be that close.
Moving all over the place with the different defensive alignments.
Clint Barmes is the plumber. He plugs all the holes on that infield. If he can get to it, he can make the play.
So Farquhar is done as Spangenberg leads off. Excuse me, Paxton is done. Farquhar just getting started. 15th appearance of the season for the right-hander. Paxton tossed 6 shutout innings, allowed just 3 hits, though he did walk 5 and struck out 5. Spangenberg grips that one, but caught. Robertson Cano makes the play, 1 away. James Paxton has been good his last couple of starts, and kind of an interesting night tonight when you mix in the walks.
Yeah, 96-97 on the fastball. Consistently worked the right-handers in, down and in, and then mixing in the breaking ball. The Padres had a chance in the second. Bases loaded, left them stranded. In the fourth, left them stranded. Could not take advantage of the wildness of the young left-hander.
Left the
3
bases
hits.
loaded twice. So Barmes made the nice defensive play to end the 6th inning. And he rips that one to left field, and it's going to get down in front of Ackley. So 1-out single for Clint Barmes. He's aboard for the first time tonight. Barmes aboard.
So, Jesse, with Farquhar coming in and Ruggiano going, was that a double switch?
There is no double switch, Mud. This is the American League.
That's right.
Ruggiano ran for Seth Smith, so he stays in the game. And he's more of a center fielder, so they just move Ackley over to left. Just a straight pinch runner staying in the game. Farquhar came over from the Yankees in the Ichiro trade. About a week before the deadline in 2012. The box score for the Padres, just 3 hits against the Seattle starter. Nothing in 2 on Almonte. Abraham has reached base twice against his former team tonight. Outside, ball 1. We have all these conversations about the designated hitter and whether we like it or not. This next one only applies to a very, very small number of us. But the scorekeeping, much easier in an American League ballpark. The scorebook, not as messy.
Absolutely.
But who's scoring games besides us? Nobody.
People score at home. That's why we always say if you're scoring at home, put Ruggiano in center field. I'll tell you a rule change that I want to see. It's not even a rule change. It's an addition to Major League Baseball. Stay tuned after this pitch.
I'm on the edge of my seat. It's a foul ball. Go ahead.
I want the umpires to be mic'd like the NFL. If there's a play, a base running play like obstruction, like we saw the other day,
we were just talking about this.
I want the umpire to click that little thing he's got on his belt and explain to the fans what's going on. So we're not scrambling through the rule book and trying to find out an inning and a half later what happened.
That was the situation Sunday in Arizona.
Over the PA so everybody in the ballpark can hear it.
The crew chief could be mic'd up. All 4. Nice job by Abraham Almonte working the walk. As we take a look now at the DraftKings players to watch from the pregame show. The guys gave you some names to keep an eye on tonight. Rough go for Ian Kennedy, but Andre Ethier, that was a good choice, gentlemen. 3 singles, a homer. Marcell Ozuna in that game at Dodger Stadium. They didn't take Stanton. Do you get bonus points on DraftKings for a guy hitting it out of Dodger Stadium?
You should.
Oh my goodness.
If you want to play along, go to DraftKings.com and enter the promo code Friars.
Derek Norris with 1 out. Almonte on first, Barmes on second. you 4 from Farquhar, and nothing in 2. That seems like a real easy thing to do.
The umpires
chief a microphone.
Yeah.
And when there's something goofy that happens, and it's only going to happen around baseball, what, a couple times a week? But at least you're ready for it. And you know what? When there's a replay challenge, they can announce that too. Even after the fact. It's like, hey, Padres were challenging the play at first base. New York told us his foot wasn't on the bag, the runner's safe. Whatever it is. It would take all of 10 seconds.
I agree with you. Amen to that, brother.
Also, let us get to know the umpires a little bit more, right? Like in football, you sort of know the different referees' personalities and that kind of thing because they talk to you. Might humanize the umps a little. It's never a bad thing. Just as an added bonus. Another deep count between Farquhar and a Padre hitter. To go through the signs again. Padres have been held in check all night. They've had a couple opportunities. 3-2 to Norris. Outside, ball 4. Third time tonight the Padres have had the bases loaded.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the San Diego Padres and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
Lloyd McClendon on the left, pitching coach Rick Waits on the right. Watching as Danny Farquhar's loaded the bases here in a 7-0 game. Matt Kemp, 6 career grand slams, and that's going to be it for Danny Farquhar. Kemp's not going to have the opportunity to face him. Lloyd McClendon taking the very slow walk out to the pitcher's mound. They were given time for the reliever to get ready. He is, and that's it for Farquhar. So for the third time tonight, the Padres have the bases loaded. Wilhelmsen coming in for Seattle.
Padres 7-0. Get ready for San Diego's biggest happy hour. Party in the Park, presented by Southwest Airlines, is back this Friday as the Padres take on the Washington Nationals. First pitch is at 7:10. Party starts around 5 o'clock. Features $5 food and drinks. Don't miss the assortment of Maui Jim sunglasses and the Shellback Rum Man Cave. Get your tickets at Padres.com/party. Cocktails.
Bullwinkle doing his thing here in Seattle. The Padres with the bases loaded against the new pitcher for the Mariners, Tom Wilhelmsen.
Fastball, cutter, curveball change. 92-96 for Wilhelmsen. He splits lefties, owning the right-hander at 429.
Came back from disabled list this past weekend against the A's. Had a hyper-extended right elbow. Suffered back at the beginning of the season. Bases loaded. Matt Kemp, 1 out. And first pitch swinging. Kemp fouls it back, out of play. Six career grand slams. 1 for 2 this season with the bases loaded. And 0 for 3 tonight.
Okay, seriously, you run into one here, 3-run deficit, totally different ball game. How's that for being obvious?
Rolls over, hits it to shortstop. Taylor has trouble with it. He's only going to be able to go to first, and they're not going to get him. All kinds of issues over at shortstop for Chris Taylor. And the Padres get a run. The bases are still loaded, and they're still just 1 away.
Take advantage of the miscue. Still only 1 out. Right up the left side, and then the errant throw takes him off the bag. Morrison keeps that one in front of him. Plays it off to the side, off the heel, off the thumb of the glove, and then up the left arm of Taylor.
E6, give Kemp an RBI, and now Justin Upton with the bases loaded and 1 away. Hits it out to right, and in foul territory. Morrison watches it go into the stands. Padres loaded the bases a couple of times earlier in this game for the bottom of the order. Unable to cash in. Loaded him up here in the 7th for Kemp, and now Upton. Almonte, Norris, and Kemp.
Boy, opponent's hitting .313 off Wilhelmsen. No, that's a ball.
Pitch 3, it missed. Wilhelmsen gets the call. Now 1-2 to Upton.
That's a good stop by Zanino on the curveball.
You going to give him a point?
That would be a run saved by the catcher.
It's your new stat, Rizvik. Almonte could have come home if he didn't make the stop.
Well, he's going to come home right after this double into the gap by Upton. Strong arm out of the bullpen. 95 from Wilhelmsen.
The 31-year-old made his big league debut back in 2011 as Solarte waits. (3-2) to Upton. Line down the right field line to foul.
It looked like he wanted to shoot that little slider the other way.
Payoff pitch to Upton, and he loops it to left field. It's a foul ball.
Out front just a little bit too quickly. See how far out in front Justin catches this one. Out in front of that front leg. Oh.
Battle brewing between Wilhelmsen and Upton. Padres have been down all night. Put one across. Here in the 7th, looking for more. Another 3-2 to Upton, and he got him. Wilhelmsen got him to chase. 2-away.
Looked like the shorter breaking ball from Wilhelmsen. Maybe a slider or a cut fastball. Maybe a power curveball. It had some serious tilt to it, some depth. And once again, a pick by Zunino behind the plate for the strikeout.
Yangervis Solarte has been good with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. That's the situation here. Ball 1. Good average with the bases loaded. Lines that one up the middle. It's a base hit, and it's going to get down for at least 1 run. Norris is coming home for 2. Kemp's going to third. He slides in head first, and it's a 2-run single for Yangervis Solarte, and the Padres add a couple of more here in the 7th. Another hit with 2 outs and runners in scoring position for Yangervis Solarte.
Not off the sweet spot. In fact, does this bat shatter? He gets in on him, fights it off, and with 2 outs, everybody's running. Shattered. Shadubi needs 2 runs. And big run over at third base with 2 outs.
Jerko has reached twice tonight. He is the 8th man to bat here in the inning. Farquhar came out of the bullpen, got just 1 out. Now Wilhelmsen.
Boy, if Padres can get that run home with 2 outs, make it 7-4. Oh!
Jerko pulls it to deep left, but it's going to go foul.
Out front, just a little bit too much.
Seattle bullpen's on a good stretch coming into tonight that allowed just 2 runs in their last 12 innings. They've given up 3 here in 2/3 of an inning.
Long strike for Jed.
Seager had a 3-run homer back in the 1st inning for Seattle. This one's getting interesting in the 7th. 1-1. And Jerko a topper foul. Kept the runner at third base, reached on an error. Solarte, a 2-run single, is at first. Jerko has walked, singled, and struck out. The 1-2.
Another breaking ball. That's how he got Upton. He almost guaranteed 2-2 here, some type of breaking ball. Nice to see Jed wear out right center field. If it in fact is a breaking ball. Well, he's set up inside, might be a heater.
Got it. Fastball at 95. Jerko couldn't touch it. But the Padres do get 3. Stretch time at Safeco, 7-3 M's.
We're here in the bottom of the 7th, and a happy 90th birthday to the great Yogi Berra. Is a pretty nice birthday cake as well for the 90-year-old. They couldn't fit 90 candles along there, so maybe just 9 really tall ones. Guys, you know Yogi has some great quotes, some Yogi-isms. Do you have a favorite?
Jesse, do you have one?
I like the pizza one, where you better cut it into 4 slices. I'm not hungry enough to eat 6 or whatever it was.
Right, that's a good
that
one. That's a good one. Thank you very much, Chris. My favorite one is Yogi came home from a game one day and he asked his wife, "Hey, what did you do today?" "Oh, well, I took the kids to see Dr. Zhivago." And he said, "Well, I didn't know they were sick."
A couple of lefties due up for the Mariners in the bottom of the 7th. Morrison and Ackley. So Frank Garces in out of the bullpen. So Frank pitched to 1 batter on Sunday in Arizona. The lone lefty on the staff. Garces made the opening day roster, option to AAA on April 25th, came back. Morrison holds off, 2-1.
Of course, Dr. Zhivago, Omar Sharif, played Yuri. Julie Christie, how you doing? Played Lara. Great movie. Coldest movie ever made.
Just missing to Morrison. 3 balls and a strike. Coldest because
It was like in northern Russia or something like that. Or like Siberia. The wintertime.
that would be cold.
Sweatiest movie ever made? Cool Hand Luke.
What about the windiest? Morrison pops it up back behind the plate. Norris gives it a look, but he's not going to have a play. Twister.
Probably Twister with
tornado.
Is that Bill Paxton?
Yeah. Jody Foster. Morrison homered in the 3rd, walked in the 1st, flew out to left his last time.
I'd like to see Frank Garces in a game like this. You got to keep it close. Lefty on lefty, get that left-hander out. That's why he's in the pen. We talk about hold situations for the team that's ahead. I'm a firm believer. If you're out there and it's a 2-run deficit, 3-run deficit, this time 4, you have to hold the opposition. Padres running out of outs, but this is a hold situation for Frank Garces.
4-run game. Padres back in range after a 3-run 7th. And you're right. You know, the Mariners are up there thinking, hey, let's get a couple of those runs back.
Yep.
And that's ball 4. Logan Morrison takes down, and a leadoff walk issued by Frank Garces.
Tonight on Fox Sports San Diego, we're talking Chargers 2015 when 2nd-round pick Denzel Perryman and 3rd-round pick Craig Majors stopped by the studio. All this and much, much more on SD Live tonight after Padres Live on Fox Sports San Diego. Don't miss it. A lot of Padres fans here in Seattle.
Yeah, it's been fun to see. Another left-handed batter, Dustin Ackley, tries to push a bunt up the first baseline. Garces has to spin to make the play. He does. And a nice sacrifice bunt there from Ackley. 1 out, runner on 2nd. Lloyd McClendon playing some small ball with his team up 4.
I was just going to say, that's something you don't see a lot of in the American League. The sacrifice bunt. And as you mentioned, trying to get one of those runs back. Garces bare hand and turns towards his glove hand side. That's where you get that momentum. But you got to be sure you square up and don't work underneath it and airmail it down that right field line.
Now a right-handed batter for Garces to face. Mike Zunino, the catcher, homered his last time up. Runner on 2nd, 1 away. And Garces delivers, strike 1. Kennedy struck him out to end a long 1st inning. Since then, he's reached twice. inside. Ball 1. Strikes. Garces came in to start the inning to face a couple of left-handed batters, Morrison and Ackley. Now a couple of right-handers, Zunino and Taylor. Nobody up in the Padre bullpen. The 4-run deficit. Buddy Black giving the ball to Frank Garces and asking him to get 3 outs. That one's hit well to left. Upton's going back, looking up. And the Mariners get 2 back. Second homer in as many at-bats from Mike Zunino. Padres got 3 in the top of the inning, and Seattle comes back and gets 2 of their own.
Well, he had him in the hole, 1 and 2. And we talk about an elevated pitch up above the belt buckle of Zunino. No doubt about that one.
Taylor swings at the first pitch, lines it into center field. Almonte comes in and makes the catch for the second out. Zunino's got power, hit 22 homers last year. Came into tonight with 3 and now has 5. First at bat of the night for Justin Ruggiano. Came in as a pinch runner for Seth Smith back last inning. He's first pitch swinging and fouls it out of play. Four home runs hit by the Mariners tonight, 2 by the catcher Zunino. Ruggiano in his first year as a Mariner, last year with the Cubs. He's also been a Marlin, made his big league debut back in 2007. Play all 3 outfield positions. After running for the left fielder Smith, stayed in to play center tonight. And he hits it well out to left. Gone. Fifth home run of the night for the Mariners. First for Ruggiano. And they got all 3 back.
That's throwing the hands there on the inside pitch. Getting ugly here late. After the Padres scoring 3 in the 7th, the Mariners answering right back with 3 in the bottom half.
Frank Garces has allowed a couple of home runs in this inning. Seattle led this game 7-0. Padres got 3 in the top of the 7th, and the Mariners have answered by getting all 3 runs back here in the bottom half. Ricky Weeks will pinch hit for Seattle. It was the left-handed hitting Brad Miller due up here in the DH spot. Foul ball. 32-year-old now. Second overall pick back in 2003 out of Southern.
You know,
that long.
I would have lost that bet if you said Ricky Weeks is 32 years old.
Yeah.
He's been around so long. It seems like he's like 35, 36.
You knew about him from the moment he entered professional baseball. Even beforehand, a lot of hype surrounding him when he was at Southern. Checks his swing, 1-1. Little brother Jemiel also with a nice little major league career. 1-2. Weeks has started a dozen games for the Mariners this year. Signed as a free agent back in February. Seen some time in left field and as a designated hitter. 1-2. Frank Garcia's dealing to Ricky Weeks. If he reaches, it's Cano and then potentially Cruz. Just misses. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the Seattle pinch hitter. Got him. Frank Garcia strikes out Ricky Weeks to end the 7th, but the Mariners get all 3 runs back and lead 10-3. To Padres Live, the post-game show. Mud, earlier we were talking about, these crazy baseball connections. Shields and Myers are traded for each other.
Right.
And Almonte, all that. Look at this connection. Lloyd McClendon, the manager of the Mariners back in September of 1990, minor league pitcher Mike Pomeranz sent to the Cubs as a player to be named later in a trade. They were traded for one another, Lloyd McClendon and Mike Pomeranz.
The left-hander from Clemson, the Clemson Tiger, going to the Chicago Cubs for Lloyd McClendon. They must have really thought something about Mike Pomeranz. He could really host a pregame show with the best of them.
Was that his baseball card, by the way, with the suit and the tie?
It was.
It's a good-looking man. Will Middlebrooks leading off against the left-hander Charlie Furbush in the pitch for Seattle. Fourth pitcher of the night used by Lloyd McClendon.
Two lefties out of the bullpen for Lloyd McClendon, and for Charlie Furbush, he throws a fastball, slider, curveball, 89-93. Pretty good splits there.
7, 8, 9 in the Padre order due up. Middlebrooks, then Spangenberg and Barmes. That's a fastball strike. 1 and 2. Willie Bloomquist is going to give Robbie Cano the rest of the night off at second base. Middlebrooks chops that one. Furbush off the mound. Nice scoop. One away. At the start of this inning, you see Willie Bloomquist run out to second base, or run out onto the field. And saying, "Oh, I wonder whose place he's taking," because the guy literally plays all over the place. He's already appeared this year at first, second, third, shortstop, and left field.
You see Robinson Cano taking the rest of the night off. He'd be one of those players to play all 9 positions in one game.
He could do it. That one's lined hard and pretty much right at Ruggiano in center field. Spangenberg puts a charge into it. 2 away.
Arizona State Sun Devil Willie Bloomquist.
Clint Barmes singled and scored his last time up. Padres 3 runs on 5 hits. Seattle 10 runs on 14 base hits, including 5 home runs.
Ouch. I dislike games like this. Gotta be honest with you.
Yeah. Them too. Sticking it out, though, I like that.
Yeah.
Watch your team.
Charlie Furbush, another pitcher who underwent Tommy John surgery and has bounced back. He had that back in 2008. Just popping up all over the place. One after another.
It's amazing. Two and two.
Gone are the shoulder injuries. Where are the shoulder injuries gone?
That used to be the thing that got everybody.
Yes.
I've had conversations with Randy Jones about that. Just a totally different thing. And you read articles, they seem to have figured out how to handle shoulders. The next frontier is controlling the elbow problems, and if anybody can figure it out, make a lot of money.
Just that one tendon, it's about, what, inch and a half?
Amazing. 3 and 2 to Clint Barmes, 2 outs, top of the 8th. Popped up, left side, shortstop Taylor. makes the catch, and that's it for the Padres here in the 8th inning. They trail the Mariners 10-3. By Mercury Insurance. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com today and see how much you could save. By Petco, what we feed them matters. And by Jerome's, where Jerry's price is the lowest price every day. No phony sales, just pure value. Padres and the Mariners in Seattle. Frank Garces in for a second inning of work, facing Willie Bloomquist. First at bat of the night for him after coming in to replace Robinson Cano defensively in the top half of the 8th. Bloomquist has appeared in 12 games now for the Mariners this season, and he hits that one into left. Justin Upton makes the catch. Nelson Cruz going to get another at bat here tonight. I would have told you before the game, Mud, that the Mariners are going to hit 5 home runs. You would have figured he had 1.
Yeah.
Not been the case.
Spread the wealth tonight when Nelson Cruz does not put up the numbers like he's seen recently, when he's drawn a walk, single, and an RBI.
Hammered to left. That's number 6 on the night for Seattle. #15th of the season for Nelson Cruz. Leads all of baseball.
Oy vey. Yeah, you're not going to get away with too many mistakes when you've got the guy in baseball swinging the hottest bat. One-0 pitch. Can't sneak that piece of cheese by him.
Kyle Seager, as the left-handed part of the Seattle order, comes up again against Garces. Mariners have tied their Safeco Field record by hitting 6 home runs here tonight. sometime in the month of May. And the Padres have had multiple home runs hit against them twice on this trip. That's in the air to right. Kemp going back inside the track, makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Frank Garcia's 1 out away from finishing off the 8th inning. He's been asked to just get it done.
There's some way you just take it for the team, right?
Yeah. He walked Morrison last inning. Ian Kennedy started this game, went 4 2/3. Sean Kelly an inning and a third in relief. And Garcia is trying to get through 2. Morrison owns one of the 6 homers. His was a solo shot with 2 outs back in the 3rd. Hits it well, right field. Kemp again just shy of the warning track, makes the catch, and the side is retired. Nelson Cruz hits his 15th home run of the season, 11 3Ms. Mike Zunino with a pair of home runs tonight. A solo shot in the 6th inning, and then in the 7th off of Frank Garcia's a 2-run homer. Zunino hit 22 last year. He hits number 4 and 5 of his season here tonight, as the Mariners have left the yard on 6 separate occasions here against Padre pitching. Mark Lowe comes in for the 4th time this season. He'll try and get the final 3 outs for the Mariners, as they've got the big lead here in the top of the 9th.
And a perfect opportunity for Lloyd McClendon to have Mark Lowe go out there. You see the splits. Lefty's hitting 667. This is only his 4th game. A couple of frames. The opportunity for him to go out there and work on some things as a relief pitcher. Have to keep that same intensity. There's some Padre faithful hanging in there.
Abraham Almonte to be followed by Derek Norris and Matt Kemp. 2 walks coming in each of his last 2 plate appearances. He scored the second Padre run. All 3 that San Diego got tonight back in the 7th inning. In the air to left field. Ackley's got a long run coming over, can't get there. Not a lot of foul territory in the deeper parts of left field here at Safeco. James Shields on the hill tomorrow. Join us at 6:30. Final game of the 9-game, 10-day road trip for the Padres. Taijuan Walker will go for Seattle. Padres split 4 with the Diamondbacks over the weekend in Phoenix. Prior to that, they dropped 2 out of 3 in San Francisco. Another foul ball the other way. Took the day off yesterday. Final game in Seattle tomorrow night, and then back to Petco. 4-game series against the Nationals Thursday through Sunday, an off day Monday, and then 3 with the Cubs downtown. Almonte again fouls it off left side.
By the way, Helen Hunt was in Twister.
I said Jodie Foster. Since I was a kid, I've gotten them confused.
Hey, the professor got in the act too. Said the hottest movie ever made? Body Heat.
Oh.
Good call, Professor. Miss you, love you, mean it.
Appreciate Dick watching. Hope he's enjoying some time off. He'll be back for that National Series this weekend. Almonte's been on base each of his last 3 times up. Long at bat here against Mark Lowe. And a 3-2 to the Padres center fielders, high outside, ball 4. 3 consecutive walks for Abraham Almonte.
Well, we do it every night. We're going to revisit the keys of the game. Brought to you by your Honda dealers of San Diego County and ship crews back to the bench. Well, Nelson 2 for 4, walk, single, home run, 2 RBIs, a couple of runs. More punch, please. Well, punch bowl's not looking too good right now. 0 for 2 at the H spot.
First pitch swinging. Norris into left center field. Ackley's not going to get there. Rolled up against the wall. Almonte's digging hard. Glenn Hoffman's going to wave him home. Norris into second base. It's an RBI double. Derek Norris with his 14th double of the season. And the Padres add a run here in the 9th.
High fastball. Derek Norris has proven on May 12th on this early part of the season that he can turn on the inside fastball with the best of them.
Leads the team in 2 base hits, among the National League leaders in that department. And here's Matt Kemp. Takes a strike at 95. (21 RBIs for Kemp so far this year. Only Justin Upton has more.
Hey, this bullpen for the Mariners, I think everybody with the exception of Farquhar, they've touched 95. You see a lot of that these days. The good arms coming out of the bullpen. You'll see the specialty left-hander flip it up there.
Outside to Kemp, a ball and 2 strikes. Yeah. I mean, there once was a time, and I know
where the starters, if you were a reliever back in the day and you were sent to the bullpen, chances are you wouldn't pitch all that much. The starter would go deep.
Yeah, and the bullpen was made up of guys, as Tim strikes out, who couldn't hack it as starters. That hasn't been the case in a long time now.
Specialization. Hey, each guy's labeled. Hey, you're the 6th inning guy. You're the 7th inning guy. And you know what? When you pitch that 1 inning and you're that innings guy, you can make a lot of money in this game if you stick around for a long time.
One out for Justin Upton.
That airplane's a little short of Boeing Field, which is south of here a few miles.
Took something off. 1-1. Padres got 3 runs in the 7th. They've added 1 here in the 9th on the RBI double from Derek Norris. '96. 1-2. Upton had a couple of hits in the final game at Arizona on Sunday, including the ball that led to all the Will Myers obstruction hysteria on the bases. Lowe's 1-2 is lifted in the air to left. Ackley going over towards the corner. Makes the catch. 2 away. Padres down to their final out.
Stay tuned after this one. Padres Live, the postgame show with Mike Pomerantz and Mark Sweeney. To find out some more information about Will Myers, he was in the lineup and then scratched. The status of that wrist. And breaking everything down in Major League Baseball. Padres Live, the postgame show.
Jan Hervis Solarte, 2 outs, runner on second. Driven in a couple tonight and a 2-run single his last time up. Fastball at 95, misses away. 1-0. It's interesting to look at the score, 11-4. Padres have used 3 pitchers tonight. Lowe is the 5th man used by Seattle. One and one. Solarte holds off. 2 balls and a strike. Abraham Almonte led this inning off with a walk. James Shields will start tomorrow night. Join us at 6:30 here on Fox Sports San Diego.
And young right-hander Taijuan Walker for the Mariners.
Roy McClendon mixing his rotation up a little bit, putting Walker in that spot.
So the veteran right-hander Shields against the young prospect right-hander Taijuan Walker.
One of the more interesting and exciting guys in baseball, but they're still waiting for it to click. You know, he's got the great stuff, though.
Yes, he does.
3-1 to Solarte. Is low, ball 4. James Shields, Taijuan Walker, and we certainly know what James is capable of.
Pre-game show 6:30 tomorrow. from the Emerald City, Game 2, Mariners Padres. Right here on Fox Sports San Diego.
Jed Jerko, 2 on, 2 out. And he takes a fastball at 97 for a called strike from low. Walked and singled his first 2 times, struck out his last 2. Got the average up to 218. It's been on a steady ascent last 2 weeks or so. Jed got the start at second base tonight, and he grounds that one to third base. Seager goes the short way. And that's it for the Padres here on a Tuesday night in Seattle. The Mariners take Game 1 of this 2-game series 11-4. Padres Live. The post-game show is next. Mike Pomerantz, what have you got?